light this candle in memory of those who died on the slopes below, needlessly, brutally, and wrongly.
What we wanted to do as a group of Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people working together was to tell the truth of our shared history.
When I was going to school, we heard nothing of the Aboriginals. The history wasn't told. We should have known about all these stories of Australia.
We had so many stories, so many lies. It was the Aboriginals' fault, and not. That's why they was killed, because they was leaving destruction everywhere. But it wasn't so.
That's how it was portrayed, that Australia didn't have any horrible history. But we had one of the worst, and it was hidden for generations and generations.
When we first heard about Myall Creek, my dad, he'd sit and tell this with tears in his eyes. He'd tell us about the massacre. My mum was the Gamarui people. They all travelled all over. And in 1838, they came here to camp by the river. One afternoon, some of the younger men went to work. The kids would have been playing. The old men would be sitting on this to shade, and the women would be getting ready to cook dinner for them. This is what I picture in my mind, is that all of a sudden these horses came up on them, men on horses came up on them and just rode into their camp, start shooting and killing our kids and our women. And the old men, they was too old to get up to run. I think they overcame, took them. The ones that were shot, they drug and put them in a heap. They locked some in the stockyard, like cattle. And then, one by one, they start to cut the heads off. Buried the little ones, the babies, up to their neck. And with their swords, they just played hockey with them, come along and hit them, knocking their heads off and laughing. Then after they done that, they pulled them out to burn them, put them in one heap. But my great-great-grandfather ran, believed to be gathering wood for the fire, like in the bushes. He seen what was happening, he ran. Him and his brother, they ran to the station. If you sit and listen now, if you sit in peace here, you can feel their pain. I feel their pain now, just sitting here talking about it. Feel the fear. I know there was a lot of massacres, but to me, this stands out. This was the only one that people spoke out and they named the perpetrators.
In 1989, I found that one of the 7 who were hung was my great-great-great-uncle. And I also was told that there was a committee to form this memorial at Myall Creek. I went and I joined that committee. I was terrified as I was driving in, absolutely terrified. I really didn't know what people would think of me. I just wanted to say sorry and acknowledge that this had happened.
Gamarui people who are part of this group warmly welcome relatives of those who were involved in the massacre.
When I came in, I was introduced to Sue Blacklock.
I just stood and looked for a while at him, and then I could see the fear. I walked up and I shook her hand, and Thank you for coming. Yes, sir, I forgive you.
Sue and I, of course, that was our reconciliation.
People say that coming here is like going on a pilgrimage. We first commemorated these events on the anniversary of the massacre in the year 2000. And we hold a memorial service here every year. During the year, thousands of people come here to visit the site. But the memorial was only part of our vision. From the beginning, we've had a dream that we would erect an education and cultural centre, and we're planning to do it right here. Australia needs a permanent resource to preserve its history of frontier conflict, a public place for understanding who we are now as a nation. Films and photographs, exhibits and recorded oral histories will tell the truth of the massacres of Australia's first people, documenting their fight to defend their land, their culture and identity. And a keeping place of artefacts and documents will allow Aboriginal people to trace their lost ancestry. I think it will be a world first.
The Myall Creek massacre and its story makes you very angry, but it also makes you understand that the fact that Aboriginal people have come through that and still have the capacity for forgiveness, the capacity for that story to bring communities together is very powerful, which is why that story means so much to the Australian narrative, and particularly to young people to understand that this is our truth.
I think a centre at Myall Creek would again recognise that we're not trying to whitewash something that was terrible. We're accepting responsibility and we're going forward together. Indeed, from an act of unconscionable savagery will come a place of enlightenment.